Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. I'm trying to be quiet. It's 11 o'clock at night, and I'm downstairs, and my living room has vaulted ceilings, so the voice will carry, and I don't want that, so I just finished filming a kale green video for you guys. Nobody asked for a kale green video, but I did one. Just showing y'all how I wash them and clean them and all the things I do with them. We're going to talk about it in the video, but listen, I've been following this whole situation with these two little boys up in California City. Y'all heard about that? Listen, let me just catch you up with the little bit I do know, in case you haven't heard about the story. So it's two little boys, 3 and 4, named Oren and Orson, okay? And they live in California City with their adoptive parents. Now, it looked like the daddy black. We know that, and it looked like the mama might be Caucasian. Now, they got masks on because we in COVID. But they say December 21st that the little boys went missing. Now, what I did not know was that the mama still got visitation. They adopted the boys. First, they was fostering the boys, and then they adopted the boys. But she still have a certain amount of rights with the boys, and she come get them and stuff. I believe, because she said she had tried to talk to him about the fact that the boys wasn't being kept up. When she would get them, their hair and stuff wouldn't be cut, and they wouldn't be tidy, and that the babies would cry so bad when she would take them back. They didn't want to go back, and she said she could tell that they wasn't happy, but she was working as hard as she could to get her babies back. Now, this is what she's telling the people on the news, and she is weeping and wailing and crying and everything. So, the baby's been gone since December 21st. Now, today is January 10th, Sunday, January 10th. Excuse me. And they still ain't found these babies. Now, these is babies, 3 and 4. I mean, the pictures that they got out there, whether when people, something happened to people, folks have come out from far and wide to look for these little babies. Evidently, the police department, California City Police Department, is very small, so they got the FBI, just a whole slew of people. Then, now these little black boys, okay, these is little black boys. So it's impressive, that they even looking for the children, right? Anyway, they've been searching for the kids in the desert. Now, the parents live the part of California they live in, evidently, I don't know if it's California, but where they live at called California City. And it's like near the Mojave or something. It's desert, okay? It's desert. The people don't have no grass, y'all. They just got like sand and tumbleweed and dead brush and stuff in their yard. Like, the people don't have no grass. It's the desert, right? And where they live at, the houses are kind of far apart. They got like dirt roads. It's some paved roads. The main thoroughfare is a paved road. On the other side of that main thoroughfare is just desert. Desert, desert. I'm talking about like snake holes, okay? Coyote dens. like desert. So the people have come from far and wide. They got a $25,000 reward. It's businesses in California City and other surrounding cities that have heard it on the news, that have come and they have said, we giving $5,000, we giving $10,000, so they can get these, offering a reward to help get these babies back. They out there looking, they make them line up, right? And you push forward in a straight line so you don't miss nothing. So they got people out there stretched out, child, walking through the desert looking for these babies. Now, through all of this, the adoptive mama and daddy ain't been out there looking, they say, not one time for the babies. The daddy said that he was told by the police department that they got plenty of people looking. They don't need them out there looking. I'm going to let you meditate on that for a minute. The daddy said that the police department told them that they don't need to go out there looking because they got plenty of people out there looking for their children. And they didn't go looking. This is the reason why they didn't go looking. With all the other volunteers and people that don't even know your babies. I'm just saying. Okay? I'm just saying. Well, they hadn't even spoke out. Okay? So now you know they got people around there gathered at the house. They got folks out there with drones flying over the house. It ain't a lot of trees. I'm telling you, it's the desert. Flying over the house where they done dug holes in the yard. They say the police department, the FBI and stuff dug them holes and stuff in the yard because they was trying to see what was going on in the yard. Okay? Now, when the daddy did finally speak out with the mama, they were so emotionless. They ain't have a lot of emotion. Now, I done stopped watching a lot of stuff about it. I'm not gonna watch nothing else about it because you can get entrenched and you can start hearing a bunch of different things and then you be done made up something in your own mind. You know what I mean? I done prayed and I done asked the Lord, please, 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 show us where these babies at. Living or not, show us where these babies at. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna let that stand. Now I'm gonna continue to keep my eye on the situation because I want to see where these babies at. But I did watch Nick at Night. Now she did a whole little expose on it, and she referenced this documentary that I had seen on Netflix called The Family Next Door, The Neighbor Next Door, The Murder I don't care, I can't remember what it was, but it was this guy that claimed that his wife and his two little baby girls, two sweet little baby girls, the mama I think was like a vlogger, and so she had tons of pictures of these little baby girls, tons of them, with her doing crafts with them, raising them up, being pregnant. I mean, just tons of videos with these little babies. And he was in a lot of the videos as well, but he had started having an affair. Now, these his blood babies. These ain't adopted children. These his blood babies. Now, I'm talking about the Netflix thing, right? And come to find out, he was like a oil, surveyor. Where they go out and survey the land for the oil companies and stuff. And that's out like in the desert too. They go out in the rural areas and things, And he done went out there and threw the mama and the babies into the oil wells. Okay, they wouldn't have never found them bodies, never. Except he told that he was guilty after they kept saying, what did you do with these children? What did you do with it? Your wife, like it's you. And they ran his phone number and all of this stuff. Come to find out he was having an affair. and all of these many different things. Plus, the wife was talking to her friends and telling her friends that he was acting crazy. He was acting, distant, and she was trying to understand why he wasn't affectionate towards her, why he wanna, be intimate. And come to find out, after it was all said and done, now they done put him under the jail, but he done told it, and he say he threw the wife in, threw the youngest baby in, and just as he went to throw the oldest girl in, she said, "Daddy, please don't." Ooh, I tell you that thing, I will never forget that as long as I live. And he did it anyway. He did it anyway, children. He did it anyway. Let me tell you something about flesh. You best to know, no good thing dwelleth. So let's go back to Nick at Night pointed out how every time they showed this man, the one that killed the wife and the two kids and threw them in the oil well, every time they had him on camera, he would be there with his arms folded. And I said, Nick, you sure right, girl. I remember it vividly. He would always have his arms folded in, and it's something about that guilt. If y'all ever, it used to be a play. I think it might have been a book. I played in the play in high school, The Telltale Heart. I also did Death of a Salesman, but I digress. Anyway, that guilt, that guilt, honey, listen. That guilt will come out of your pores. It will come out of your orifices. It will give off an odor, baby. It will be wafting off of you. Well, if you go back to this California city couple, where he is standing there and they talking to the news. They got the news there. Now, mind you, also, they done talked to the mama, and the mama is crying and weeping and wailing. Something done happened to her babies, and she said her baby's in that house somewhere. This is what she say. She can feel it. She said she can feel that her babies are there somewhere, right? Well, now also go back. They doing a interview. They standing out front of the house and they got the microphones up, and this their first time, if I'm not mistaken, talking to the news and everything. And the sister of the mama, the baby's biological mama, is hollering at them. Where are those kids? You were supposed to take care of them. Something's not right. You guys don't even care. I mean, they are emotionless. The adoptive parents, they don't have no emotion. I'm talking about not crying, they not loving up on each other, like gathering up on each other. They ain't hugging up. They ain't doing nothing. He's standing there with the arm folded, and she got her hands in her jacket, and she keep looking around like she waiting for somebody to walk up on her. You waiting on one of them little kids to walk up on you. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for what you done did. That's what I was thinking to myself in my head. What's she waiting on? She waiting on the shoe to drop? What's she looking around for? The truth to pop out? What's she looking for? She had a head on a swivel. Now, Nick at Night had pointed it out as well. But what I noticed was he did all the talking. Now, he said that the wife was inside and she was wrapping gifts. And since she was wrapping gifts, she put a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old out on the back patio to play by themselves. Now, mind you, they got several children. I think they got their own biological kids. I don't know how many children altogether, including the adopted babies they had. But it must have been at least a couple of other kids. They there in the house, but y'all put the 3 and the 4-year-old outside in the yard. Okay? Now, when I tell you that wind was whipping through there, baby, that wind was whipping through there, it was cold right then. Okay, even though the desert, be warmer in the daytime, you could tell by the way that wind was whipping through there. Ain't no trees and no mountains or nothing to keep it from being ice, block the wind and everything. It was whipping through there. So why would y'all put them little babies outside in the cold like that? Well, like I said, they had already built, people like to build a little shrines. So they had teddy bears and candles and everything where they even came out there to pray for the little boys in front of the house. And somebody also put 2 pictures of the little babies out there. Well, the 2 pictures that they put out there was of the babies like a year or so earlier, or, at least 10 months earlier, right? The neighbors say the little babies now don't look nothing like that. They very skinny. The mama said it too. They very skinny. They look malnourished. I said, They put the little babies outside. Now, ain't nobody asked the people what the babies was wearing. I had so many questions for the parents. I really did. But, people just wanted to hear what they had to say, just trying to size them up and see what was going on. Because up until this point, the public really had not seen them. Well, he said while the mama was wrapping gifts and they put the babies outside, well, he decided he was going to gather some firewood. And he said it's a lot of dead brush and stuff around and that they could use for firewood. So he went out to gather it. And when he went out, he left the gate open. And he said when he went out, he saw them. When he came back with some brush and some wood, he said wood. Now, y'all got to see these desert pictures, child. I don't know where he was getting this wood from, but he said he was getting wood. He know his neighborhood better than I do, but I'm just saying, I ain't seen nary tree. Nary hardly tree, I'm telling you. Anywho, he came to throw the wood back in the gate. He didn't see him. And say he finished doing what he was doing, went inside, and then he asked the wife, was they inside? Had she seen him? And she was like, no. And now he doing all the talking. Now she just standing there and shaking her head up and down, up and down, up and down. And he said, so he went back out the gate and he looked down one side of the street and down the other and didn't see him. So they went back inside and looked around through the house to make sure that the babies wasn't there in the house, right? Now you got other kids. Did you ask other kids? Did you ask the other kids to help you look? How old are the other kids? Like, what is going on? So what he does is he gets in his van and he go down the street. Up one side and down the other. He didn't see him. He come on back in. By this time, it's about 50 minutes later, and they called the police. So when the reporter told the adopted parent that the mama think that they had something to do with it, they both said that's understandable. That's understandable because they would feel that way too if it was their children. It was your children. It was your children. And they feel like that's understandable. They don't blame them. But as soon as we get these kids back, then that will make all of these assumptions about them null and void. I was like, are you serious? Is this for real? Okay. So then the mama started talking and she was kind of not really making no sense. Her voice wasn't breaking up. She wasn't choked up. She was like, yeah, and this is what happened. And I understand what people think, but this is what happened. And she would talk a little bit and then he would turn his head and look down. And she would notice it. She would notice it. Go back and watch that footage. She would notice when he would make these movements that meant you talking too much, don't say too much, don't go there, don't go down that road, right? She was reading that body language. She was reading that body language, baby, and she knew and after a while, she just cut it off. A few minutes of talking, not even a few minutes, she just cut it off, right? So by this time, the sister done went off, child, and started hollering at them and told them she know they did something. Y'all was supposed to watch them. Y'all was supposed to watch out these babies. Where are these babies? Now, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, why didn't you have the babies? If the mama wasn't fit, your sister wasn't fit, why didn't you have the babies? But, it's a lot of reasons why the family member may not be able to take the children in, I don't know. And, children can be rambunctious, okay? Somebody said that the children climbed the gate. I don't know. I don't know why they would climb the gate. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? If your children climb gates and stuff like that, you ain't gonna leave them by themselves outside. You can barely leave them at the dining room table by themselves without keeping an eye on them. They always getting into stuff, right? They get grand ideas, right? So I can understand that. But knowing all that, why would you put two little babies outside? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't get it. Now, I don't have children, but I would keep an eye on a 12-year-old outside. I'm just being honest with you. I would. Because it's, we living in a predatory society. Anyway, you got a gate there, and you done left the gate open with your kids playing, and you so far down into the desert getting wood, you don't notice your baby's walking out. You got not one baby, but two babies that get out, and you don't see it, huh? Your wife didn't go looking. You don't go looking. Nothing, y'all. Y'all ain't got nothing for us. They say they been too busy trying to help the police sort this whole thing out. I wanted to know what the babies was wearing when you saw them outside. That's what I wanted to know. I wanted somebody to ask, do you remember what the babies had on? Okay? Because the more questions you ask, people ain't prepared for everything you got to ask them. They prepared to tell you what they was doing at the time of the disappearance. They done worked out how long it took them to call the police and all of that. When the kids could have been, if foul play happened, the kids could have been missing for 2 or 3 days before they decided to set the scene and call the police. Now, but I will tell you this, okay? Y'all know I'm an animal lover. I love animals, all animals, okay? And they don't lie, all right? Them dogs they got, okay? They're sniffing around. Them dogs can't find scent of them boys nowhere but in that yard and in that house. Outside of that gate, the dogs cannot find a scent. This is what the chief of police is saying now. They can't find scent of those boys anywhere at all except on the property. Not going up the street, not walking down the block, not around the corner, not in the neighbor's yard, nothing. Where these babies at? Where these babies at? Y'all know they gonna find out. They gonna find out where these babies at. And I'm gonna tell you something. One of the hardest things in this world to hide is a body. The only thing that's harder to hide than a body is guilt. I'm telling you. These parents know more than what they saying. They do. And listen, I grew up in the time of the child in the well. Y'all remember the little girl that fell in the well? She don't like to talk about it no more now. Y'all know they don't have a lot of pictures out there of her now. But she was in that well like 18 hours, 20 hours, something like that. It was the only thing on the news. People were standing vigil at the well. They had so many people trying to get this little baby out the well. Kids get into stuff, right? But these people have looked everywhere. It's not like they could be in the swamp. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really brutally cold at night. and it's coyotes. Is I just I don't know where them little babies could be. I mean, it's people that walk the roads in case the little babies got hit by a car. But you would think you would see blood trail or something. I just don't understand how your babies get gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if they got out the gate and they was walking around the neighborhood, what do? You go and you holler their names. You holler, Orson, Orin, Orson, Daddy's here. Daddy's looking for you. Orson is Daddy. Orin is Mommy. That's what you do, right? Little babies, you call after them. Y'all didn't walk this neighborhood and call for y'all babies in case they was in somebody else's backyard? I just don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. And I hate to think ill of people, y'all, but I'm telling you, have y'all seen the footage? Did y'all see this interview that they did, this press conference that they did? Now, granted, they had masks on, but I'm just telling you, body language. The body language, you guys. And like I said, I don't watch a whole bunch of stuff. I don't watch where somebody done put a drone over the top of the house. That's when I knew I had to stop watching it now, because I was getting in too deep. And they put a drone over the top of the house. That's how I know it is desert, right? And the houses are quite far apart. Like, where they live is a little bit more clustered, but then beyond these 3 or 4 homes, they're quite far apart. And the babies would have to cross roads and stuff. You know what I'm saying? The parents haven't even gone door to door. The police went door to door asking. And the neighbors say they never see the kids. The neighbors say they never see the kids. Y'all following this? Are y'all following this story? Listen, whether you following the story or not, if you heard of it or not, if you know a word of prayer, please say a prayer for these babies, please. Listen, they've been gone since December 21st. Next week, they will have been gone an entire month. All right? So we have to be reasonable. But that does not mean that we don't continue to pray for their safe return. But if we don't pray for nothing else, let's pray that we get answers. That God will move in this situation and show us where these kids are. Wherever they are, I hope they at least together. Y'all tell me what you think. See, now I got to get on off of here. I got to get on off here because y'all know I get emotional. But baby, when I tell you I wanted to ask them parents some questions, I wanted to know what them kids was wearing. Okay? What was the temperature that day? Why you didn't put all the kids outside if you was afraid of them seeing you wrapping gifts? Why you didn't go in the bedroom and wrap gifts? Why would you leave 2 little babies unsupervised outside? Even if you got a gated yard. Listen, I mean, kids turn the water on, kids pull stuff down on them, they fall, they hurt themselves. Like, you have to keep your eye on your children, even if you're going to check them every 15, 20 minutes. Like, how long were they out there? What time did you put them out there? Now, I know the police is asking them all this, but I wanted to ask. Had they eaten that day? What did they have to eat? I'm telling you. Oh, Miss Honey would have questioned them. Every little bitty thing. Every little bitty thing. Every little bitty thing. Y'all tell me what you think. Y'all put it down below. Have y'all heard about this story? Have you seen the interview? What y'all think? What is your gut telling you? Like I said, I know children get into things, but we done seen a lot of kids go missing. Y'all remember Kaylee Anthony? Remember Kaylee Anthony? Casey Anthony. I can't remember. The baby name was Kaylee, and the mama name was Casey. Listen, tell me what you think. Put it down below, you guys. And until next time, I'll holla.